Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins, also known via the much better title Snake Eyes, is a film that bombed so hard in the States that it was released onto video on demand, VOD, before it got a general release in the UK, thus decimating what little interest this film's truly pitiful marketing campaign had managed to drum up. Now, I'm not for a second going to pretend that the UK box office was going to turn this jumble of words, mixed tones, warring themes, wooden acting, terribly shot action scenes, and tragic attempt at rebooting an aging franchise into anything other than a bomb for the ages, but it would have helped. Slightly. But I get ahead of myself. Snake Eyes is a reboot of the G.I. Joe franchise, a cartoon from the 80s designed to sell toys that came to my attention through Stephen Sommers' second best film, but that promising franchise was killed by a dull, uninteresting, unimaginative sequel and has now been reborn as a stillborn. There's no other films coming off from this. There's no TV show or game unless studio inertia is so great that it's easier and cheaper to make another film than to stop the train.
Before, it will happen again. It's just a question of when.
Now, since this is a reboot of a franchise that's not exactly in the best of health, I was expecting this to serve not just as an origin story for Snake Eyes, but also for this universe. Who or what are G.I. Joe? Who or what is Cobra? From what I can gather, we're not dealing with War and Peace here. Generally, Cobra wants to take over the world via some widget or overly complicated plan and get stopped by the Joes, rinse and repeat for next week's episode. Fine. You can make good popcorn movies from that. I've seen a great popcorn movie from that. Except I wasn't reminded of any of the other films from this franchise. I wasn't even reminded of any great ninja stories. Instead, I was reminded of 2013's The Wolverine. Oh. Except where The Wolverine had that one semi-decent fight scene on a train, here you have nothing. And to say the link with the G.I. Joe franchise is tenuous is to be generous. Samara Weaving, giving a performance only an oak tree could love, and could have been removed at no cost. It's a similar deal with Cobra. They could have actually been removed completely as well, and I doubt it would have taken the scriptwriter more than an hour or so. Actually, you could have taken the 21st century out of this thing, and it wouldn't have taken more than another hour or two. I think. I actually have no idea how long it takes to rewrite a script.
Damn it, man.
I'm a critic, not scriptwriter. That's not to say this film is completely hopeless. It's only mostly hopeless. For example, the plot is fascinating where three different groups have three different objectives, but they all fit together. Snake Eyes wants his father's killer. The man who has his father's killer wants a MacGuffin from the local ninja clan, and the leader of the local ninja clan wants to keep the MacGuffin so that he can keep protecting Japan like his clan has allegedly done for the last 600 years, which raises a few questions from me, but whatever. That's actually not a bad setup for a script, and again, with a few more tweaks, this would be an amazing undercover cop film. Because all the cliches are here. Is the owner of the MacGuffin going to offer Snake Eyes the family he's never had, forcing him to choose between two worlds? Check. Is our lead going to try to brood over his life choices? Check. Bland, underwritten love interest? Check. Also, the action scenes just plain suck. There's that 12A marvelised clean violence, but also the whole thing is so over-edited that it's hard to tell who's doing what to whom and why, which in a film like this is kind of the kiss of death. But again, there are moments of promise. The film introduces some large animals in a scene which could have been tense and thrilling, but its overuse of obvious CGI just kills it for me, as well as the fact that our lead escapes not through his own cunning, but because someone else saved him, which, for a character who's meant to be an ultimate badass, isn't really much of an endorsement. It's not like our lead is physically imposing to begin with. He's ripped and gets in lots of fights, but there's no presence in any of them. He never owns the character in the way that you would want to do, and also, isn't Snake Eyes meant to be a mute? It's true that he pretty much only speaks in exposition and cliches, but that's not quite the same thing as saying nothing. It's close, but there's a subtle difference, which is pretty much the same for everyone else here. They speak and do things, but their motives are all so crude and they're all so flat that I didn't care. I only perked up at the end fight scene because it was the end fight scene and it meant I could go home soon. I've seen better martial arts films than this. I've seen better ninja films than this. I've seen better origin films than this, and I hate origin films. This film feels like an American attempt to make a martial arts film without understanding the genre and throwing way too much money at this thing. Where did this film's $88 million budget go? It doesn't look like it all went on screen, I'll tell you that for nothing. Or did the editor's caffeine addiction spiral out of control? There's the odd moment that's exciting, but there's nothing to justify slogging through this film's 2-hour runtime when there are other better films. Its characters are flat, its world's dull. The villains, usually the highlight of a film like this, are uninteresting. These side characters are awesome, weaving aside, and deserve their own movie instead of the bozos I got stuck with here. Look, if you want to reboot G.I. Joe, reboot G.I. Joe. If you want to tell a ninja story, tell a ninja story. Don't try and make some kind of mutant hybrid of the two, because that's not going to please anybody. And certainly don't take a toy that's known for being silent and making them a chatterbox who speaks only in cliches. Oh, and absolutely 100% never, ever, never, ever ask the person who directed Allegiant, Insurgent and R.I.P.D. to direct this, or indeed anything, ever again. Guy belongs in the same director's jail as Tom Hooper. In summary, I definitely think that you can skip it. But what do you guys think? And what do you think is the least awful origin movie? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, been a Donkey. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe.